Welcome to Inside GST, the podcast that breaks down the most complex parts of your business taxes. Powered by GST Manager, your all in one tool to stay compliant. A new generation of ideas, a new generation of startups and founders, and a new generation that needs help with taxes. So, before we dive in, can I get a little bit introduction about yourself and what you do at GST Manager?
Yeah, hi Hanet. So my name is Dheeraj. I'm a chartered accountant and I'm the co-founder of GST Manager. So I deal with sales, marketing and HR in my company and this is my first podcast which I'm doing in. And yeah, that's about myself.
Glad to have you part of this first podcast of yours. And what about yourself?
Hi Annette, this is Shubham, and I'm a chartered accountant too, and I'm the strategic planner and head of operations in GST Manager. And I love to play a lot of chess and read a lot of books.
So, give me a little bit of story behind why GST Manager was created, what made you create it.
Right, so it started with me back in 2018. As I completed my chartered accountancy course, I joined with my father's business. And that time the GST was very new. It was only been like 9 months or so since the GST had started. And like most businesses, even my father was not aware what to do and how to do it well. And in December 2018, the customer of where my father used to supply got a major GST raid, and because of which the customer had stopped all the payments of my father, and that resulted in the closure of my father's company. And in spite of knowing the law, and uh, I wanted to help my father, but since I was too young back then. I mean, my the chartered accountant who was handling the case was not much aware of the law, and we had to lose our company. I mean, I thought, okay, if this could happen to my father's entity, I mean, there are a lot of other small scale businesses in India which needed help at that moment, at the novelty of GST, to help with these compliances, because the entire livelihood depends on this, and that's where the idea of GST Manager born inside me. And so post 2018 December, I decided to open a small company in a very small street in Chennai. I mean, I was able to gather quickly initial clients because of my father's initial business contacts, and very quickly I realized one major thing. I mean that GST is gonna be the next big thing in India. Previously it was income tax, but I thought GST is the next major thing that is upcoming in India. And I shared my entire vision with my friend, which was Dheeraj, and he was working for PricewaterhouseCoopers back then. And I told him, brother, you have to come down to me and help this. And trust me, GST is gonna grow big, and we're gonna make good out of it. And so, without even hesitating, he resigned and joined with me in April 2019, and we started this brand GST Manager.
So I just joined and just resigned in just 3 months. So yeah, back then in 2017, not lot of chartered accountants were very focused on GST, nothing, because statutory audit and income tax was the very big thing. So GST, it was just look like any other indirect tax compliance. They're not much more focused on it. But 7 years down the line, it has been taken a huge shift, and the way it has been grown, the way people are talking about it, and people have been using GST on it. So it's been grown in a very big way, and since we used to get a lot of opportunities because we were the first persons who were studying GST, and we had very good grip on what we have been doing. So that gives us the leverage to help the businesses, and the businesses responded in a very good way. We wherever you used to go, we used to get a lot of GST work, litigations, monthly filings, and other things. So we started guiding the business, and the businesses gave us good opportunities, and we thought, why don't we make this as a pan India brand? So that's how GST Manager was born.
It's beautiful to hear that from such sorrows came something of a pride that is GST Manager. And also, like you mentioned, I think for us who are amateurs, we have only heard of term tax. That was an umbrella term for something, even like for GST or income tax. Tax was an umbrella term for everyone that is amateur in this field. So when did this become into more of a platform?
Yeah. So if you see, taxation is something where even every person is being affected. You be a billionaire or be a very poor person, everybody are affected to taxes. Okay. So back then when ITC reconciliation was a issue, like if there's a manufacturing company and you have like 10,000 invoices to be matched, okay, and the law is very new. So how you're going to match it? If you do manually, it will take a lot of time in doing it, okay, and you're going to do every month after month. So that time my friend Shubham, he's very good in tech as well, so he founded a very good software where it can match and reconcile invoices very quickly and in a very sophisticated manner. And with that we used to like do like daily we used to like do like 25-30 reconciliations for a client, and we thought then why don't we solve the other GST problems also using tech. So that's why from a small tool until the GST Manager platform. So that was the inspiration behind that. We start keep using technology to solve businesses and at the same time have the core expertise of taxation and tax experts to guide them around. So you have a blend of both technology and tax experts, and that's what businesses like doing with us.
At that time, how did you position yourself with competitors? Because I'm assuming there are other people also who realize that there is this issue with GST that we need to solve. How did you position yourself?
So back then, the competitors were focused only in providing a tool and not the guidance. So what was happening is the competitors developed a similar tool and they requested the taxpayers to upload their government data, which is the GSTR 2A, and their accounting data, normally Tally or Zoho, and they used to take this two data and just provide the reconciliation, and the taxpayer had no idea what to do with this reconciliation, and moreover how much this reconciliation can be relied on. So what how we differentiated is we never gave this tool as a service to our customers, rather we gave the professional guidance. We also helped to understand what should you now do with this reconciliation. So in some cases we guided them to reach back to their vendors and amend their GST records on a timely manner, which saved a lot of taxes. And in some cases, we asked the client to precautionarily reverse the ITC until there is some correction, and so on and so forth. So, what was missing with the competitors was the human element and only the tool, and that's where we differentiated, where we added the entire experience of guidance and a continued support journey.
So, what would you say then again was the most frustrating part of GST filing for MSMEs and businesses such as that you were helping at that time?
Yeah, see, back then, if you see the MSME segment, okay, they were the person who were not being exposed to such kind of compliances. So today, if you see MSME, they are filing GST 1, they are filing GST 3B, they are doing the e-invoices, they are doing e-way filings, and apart from that, they have to file GST 7. So if you see, even in a first world country like US or Australia or Europe, you don't need to have such kind of compliances, okay. So the compliance has taken a very paradigm shift from very less compliance to like compliance at the highest, okay, and that's where the major gap has come in, wherein people don't have access to proper tax experts and how to solve these problems and things like that. And that's how we thought that why don't we help MSME in all these things to make sure that they don't worry about GST ever before.
So, when you say compliance, are you talking about litigation cases, legal cases, and is there a service from your end that you're providing for the same?
Yeah, that's the source point. If you see, if your compliance is good, then you will not get GST notices. Okay, since the compliance was initial, very beginning stage, and a lot of laws are being continuously changing around, so people are not aware of what to be followed and what not to be followed. Okay, so eventually they don't used to follow those laws. Example, paying taxes for reverse charge mechanism. So in India, unless and until the portal mandates you to do something, they're not doing. So back then, since portal was allowing to file returns without reverse charge mechanism, they used to file. And customers who used to file with us, they used to tell me, sir, you are talking lot of rules, lot of regulations, but other people are just randomly filing. For them, everything is gone. But 2 years down the line, now they are getting notices of 17, 18, 18, 19, and all those years. So yeah, we do provide GST litigation services. That's our hero services, and that's what we are bringing to the thing. So now if you see, like once in every 3 person is getting a GST notice. So we help businesses solve the GST notices and thrash them once for all, so that they don't have issues in the upcoming years. So that's the USP where we've been working around.
Great. So, like you said, GST is comparatively new and it's been in India for a few years. What do you think has genuinely got better since then, up until now?
I would say the consolidation of various taxes into one single GST had been a bigger boost, and the ability to work across the nation with a single portfolio, that has also helped the business in a larger extent. So, previously, what used to happen is, let us say you're working in Tamil Nadu and you also want to expand to Karnataka. This would have required two separate registrations with two separate authorities, which is one is Tamil Nadu Authority for VAT and for Karnataka Authority for VAT. And this had lot of confusions and there was no free flow of credit. So one major help the taxpayers has happened, that is consolidation of various acts such as entry tax, octroi duty, excise, service tax, CST, VAT, and all this has been combined to one single GST. The second thing I would say is that the credits of one domain is available across everybody. So previously was happening is that a service provider was not able to take any credit on the value added tax, and vice versa. But now that is not an issue, and both are able to take credits on both the side. I would say this is really helping taxpayers to the larger extent.
Got it. From what you're saying, I'm getting the gist that GST has become more simplified. If that is the case, then I'm not expecting mistakes from people that you're dealing with, businesses that you're dealing with. But then again, nothing is an exception. So, what are some three common GST mistakes that you see often in this case?
Yeah, the major mistake which I see is the claiming of GST at 2A input. Okay, just on the basis that I have an invoice and I have received in my GST at 2A and I'm going to claim that input. Okay, but that does not work that way. So there are other rules and conditions which needs to be fulfilled before you claim an ITC. Okay, so one of the condition is that you have to make payment to your supplier within 180 days. Okay, so if you don't make payment to the supplier, then you're not eligible for the ITC. And second thing is that the ITC you are claiming, you have to check whether it's an eligible ITC or a blocked ITC. Okay,
The GSTR 3B is filed or not.
yeah,
You know,
the
like,
GST 3B for the customers has been filed or not. So that's also a very important thing which needs to be checked. So these are the common things I find that people generally make mistakes in, and which leads to GST notices.
So, how is GST Manager helping with these issues and more? Are you sending more manual, or is it automation? How is it that you're better standing in the market?
I would say that once we complete the reconciliation, the action item list is the key differentiator. And we follow it up month after month until the particular error is resolved. And if not, then we take precautionary steps such as taxpayer communication, sending emails, and provisioning for those reversals beforehand. So, this action item request and this burden is not on the taxpayer. We step in and do this work for the taxpayer so that he or she can focus on their dream project, whereas the GST compliances is handled by us.
So there is more one-on-one consultation from your end rather than a lot of these automated platforms that you see currently. There's a lot of more manual labor that goes into this. There's a bigger team that goes into is what you're saying.
That's absolutely correct. Yeah.
All right. So finally, talking about founders, right, and being the experts in this field, what are some lessons for founders that you would like to give?
Yeah, so the founders look at GST as only compliances, but I would disagree. I mean, GST is their visiting card. If they go to a bank and apply for a loan, the various schemes such as overdraft is calculated on their GST turnover. And if suppose they are looking for a funding, the investors would believe only on their GST turnover.
Yeah, so in instances, if you see, like if you're supplying to major MNC companies and big corporates,
Right, yeah.
so they will definitely check if you are compliant or not. And if you are a person who was having a lot of GST non-compliances or GST notices, then they might not have business with you. So that's the dynamics in which today people look at GST and GST compliances.
Got it. I think that it's not very well known that all of these are available for you to search up. All of their, if there is an issue with compliance, all of this is easily available for people to search up. So, in that case, also diverting a little bit from the topic, one question that I have for you is that GST in itself is a very robust system, right? So, but there is so much news regarding fake entities. What is your take on this?
See, I think that is a problem which the system has created for itself. So initially in 2017 when the law was passed, it was like we have to file three returns. GST 1 you have to file, and the portal will automatically reconcile your returns, your transactions with your vendor's transaction and give you a GST at 2A, and based on that you'll have to file a GST at 3B. And whenever there's a mismatch, there will be a communication to both the vendor and the recipient, and both will be liable to pay the tax, or either one who is making the mistake will be liable to pay tax. Okay, but it was just written in the rule book and it was never implemented. And now what is the issue is you are filing GST 1, it is reflected in GST 2A, but you have the luxury to enter what amount you want in the ITC column. Okay, and that is the one of the core reason that still bill trading is going on and fake entities are being created. Okay, and that is a nightmare. If you see, like right now about more than 12 lakh crores of rupees, okay, have been evaded through bill trading. Okay, so 12 lakh crores is almost like 6 months of revenue collection which the GST department is losing out. That's a huge number. Okay, and because of that, lot of genuine businesses are facing lot of interest penalties. They are closing down the business, and it's very harsh on the genuine
Recipient.
business people as well, because see, because of somebody else mistake, if I say you paying 18% interest and 100% penalty, okay, it's a nightmare. And second thing, in India, the cost to make mistake over here is very high. Okay, so even if you made mistake, if there is a way to rebounds and to have a fair deal of closure, it is easy. Okay, but if for doing a mistake of 18 rupees, if I say that you have to pay me 100 rupees back, how can you pay them 100 rupees? And that's practically impossible, and that leads to more and more evasion of taxes. So that's the major thing.
Okay, got it. I mean, India is not a nation that takes very lightly on 12 crores is a huge amount that
12 lakh crores.
12 lakh crores is even more of a huge amount than that I could even spell out. So that is
Yeah,
wild.
probably you cannot even imagine the number of zeros.
Yeah, I cannot even imagine. So I think I'm probably going to miss out on one of the zeros if I was to write it down also. So how about we quickly divert to a myth busting round, a rapid fire?
Yeah,
Is that
let's
all right?
do it. Yeah.
Fun. Okay. First question. Once GST is cancelled, then taxpayer is free of all notices and they need not worry about any other thing.
Businesses thinks that is yes, but it's total no. So even if your GST number is cancelled, still GST notices can be shared to you. Okay, still there's a possibility, and you will have to pay all the taxes, interest, penalty. They might still raid your property as well. So yeah, GST cancellation has nothing to do with you not getting or not getting a GST notice.
Great. Renovation or construction of office space, is ITC available?
So there was a landmark judgment in this manner, and the parliament had recently overridden that. But most people, because of that landmark judgment, has still continued with this myth that they can claim ITC on major office renovations. But the answer is on any fixed nature renovation, the ITC is not available, and that is a myth that is busted.
So is this for personal? So if I was to work in an office and if I broke something, can I ask for ITC is
It
available?
doesn't matter for small repairs. The question to be answered is it a major capital expenditure on a major fixed nature repair? For example, let's say I'm redoing my entire flooring. That is a major capital expenditure, and ITC wouldn't be allowed. Let's say you are doing a major interior work in which the plies are fixed to the wall, and now it can't be changed. So now the ITC is not allowed on this. But there was a case law which allowed it, and the people are still continue to do it. But what they're missing out is the Parliament has changed, the GST Council has changed it, and now the ITC is not available to the business people.
Got it. Next question is, there is a common myth that composition dealers will only pay 1% in all scenarios.
No, there are chances where they can pay 18% GST. Suppose if they are liable to pay GST under reverse charge mechanism, or if they are doing a service related business, then 6% GST applies. But most of the business still feel that composition is just paying 1%, and even if they're doing service, they still end up paying 1% GST and then get notices very badly.
Got it. Why is it that they still pay 1% if it is 18%? Are they not tax educated? What is the lack of resources therein?
Yeah, see, suppose if I'm a chartered accountant, okay, I know great about taxes, accounting, financials, everything, but I have zero knowledge on technology or how to run this camera. I don't know. I don't have zero knowledge. So similarly, I have to use my set of experts to handle it out. So similarly, they have to see if you want to give a work to an electrician, electric work, you have to give to an electrician. So if you have any tax related work, you have to give to a particular expert to handle it. So that's the better way of doing it.
One
around.
more thing I would say, Dheeraj, here is the oversimplification of law as a major role. Okay, so what composition dealers think, okay, I'm a composition dealer registered to pay 1%, I'll continue to pay 1%. But that is not true. There are a lot of things that he needs to take care. As Dheeraj rightly pointed out, let's say he is using the services of ChatGPT. So that is an import of services, and he needs to pay RCM at 18%, and he will not be allowed to take ITC on that, right? And this is happening because he's interpreting the law in a very oversimplified manner and not paying attention to the details therein. That is what I would say is the issue.
So with GST Manager, does your clients have to worry about this oversimplification of laws, or would you simplify it for them?
I would say it is it is the other way around. We go into the great depths of it, and sometimes the clients say, okay, I think I get it. I wouldn't do this. So I think it's the other way around.
Got it. Next and final question is, people that pay RCM on GTA services, can they avail ITC on this payment?
So actually this is true, you know, I mean the people who pay RCM on the goods transport agency, they are allowed to take ITC on their payments. The confusion comes because of the tariff rate. In the tariff chart, if you observe, the government has mentioned that the ITC is not available, but the government is saying those lines for the goods transport agent and not the recipient. So actually this is not a myth, and this is confirmed that you can avail the ITC.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much for participating in this. You have been such great champs. Before we wrap up for once and for all, what is... Okay, let me ask Dheeraj first. What is one thing you would like to change in GST currently?
Yeah, I will do just one thing. I'll bring back the GST at 2 and make government reconcile all the invoices and make both supplier and recipient in charge of the mismatches. So that will solve your 12 lakh crores problem, and I hope it reaches the person whom it has to be reached.
Good to know. Now, Shubham, it's your turn, please.
So I would say I would reduce the burden on the government, and I want to fix the purchase issue. So I would say I would restrict the availment of ITC in GSTR 3B to the extent available in GSTR 2B. All right, and in the subsequent month, if the 3B was not filed by the vendor, then there should be a reversal, automatic reversal without manual intervention. I should say the 3B should be fully automated and no human intervention should be allowed. Rather, the government can take a form from the taxpayer to mark their purchases in 2A as ineligible or voluntarily not availed, something like that. And I think that should fix a lot of issues for a lot of taxpayers, especially MSMEs.
Dheeraj, do you have anything to comment on that?
Yeah, that's also a good idea. But see, somewhere you have to simplify the work for the MSMEs. That's very much important, because at the moment you're making them do full-time only GST and accounts. Okay, so all all through the month you have dates and calendars fixed to do this work and this thing, this work. Even if they don't do an hobby or a homework, that's fine. But they cannot miss filing a monthly return or a 3B return and things like that. I think we have very good technology companies and software companies. So a lot of things could be done from a higher end, so that the common man need not suffer from such things. And this 2025, okay, so even if you're still manually doing things, manually sending notices and all those things, and I think that's not the way forward. So I think lot could be done at the technology level, so that the common man need not suffer on this.
Got it. And finally, is there any news, recent news that you would like to touch upon before we this
Yeah,
show?
so there was a major announcement from the Red Fort by Honorable Prime Minister, and he announced that with respect to GST, this Diwali would be a double Diwali. So the taxpayer are eagerly waiting. I mean, what would be this? And there are initial market hints, and wherein the reports say that the government is trying to simplify the tax rates. From presently the tax rates are 5%, 12%, 18 and 28. Apart from this, we have special taxes for deemed exports and gold at 3%. The government is now trying to bring it to a two tax rate model at 5% and 18%. One more major thing the government is trying is to reduce the reverse inverted duty structure, wherein your output sale liability is lower than your input purchases. But let's
See,
say
again, it's a very problematic thing. Okay, so there is also the anti-profit measure which comes in. Okay, suppose you are buying a car with 28% GST, let's say 10 lakh rupees is including GST. Now, what if I'm the business guy and if I know that government is going to reduce the taxes? Okay, so I will increase my car value by 50,000. I'll make it 10 lakh and 50,000 rupees. And eventually, after 3 months, when government again reduces the taxes, it will be 10 lakh again. Okay, so it will be priced the same way. In this case, the end benefit, the consumer is not enjoying it. It is going, the business are going to make more profit out of it. So my take is that you can make it. You have to be very calculative in making it. But instead of rationalizing GST, it's better that you tax at one end, tax the expenses, and if possible, please evade the income tax, abolish it, trash it, throw it into pieces. And I believe the entire 110 crore population will be happy with that. So that's the way to go.
I think whatever the outcome, we'll have to have a cracker ready just for this occasion. Let's see what happens. But thank you so much for joining us today. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Like,
Thank you,
share,
Anand.
subscribe.
Thank you for joining us today. And in case you have any tax related queries, don't be shy to leave it in the comments down below. And also, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.